What's up, people of the internet? NinjaNick333 back with another round of Pokemon cards. We've got, looks like some sort of water deck here on the left. I think that is a Regigigas. That's a little interesting to see. Hopefully this is not a Reggie deck, because that would be a little odd since it lost all of its special energies in rotation. We have a Mew deck here on the right with that Mew VMAX, those Genesect Vs, allowing you to draw some cards. Looks like there might be a Meloetta there in that deck, so I would not be surprised if there are Fusion Strike energies as well. Looks like they're starting off with the Battle VIP Pass, Mew going first. That's usually what it wants to do, especially if it is the Double Turbo Energy only version. But again, I think I saw, there's Fusion Strike energies in there. So looks like they are prize checking. So they went through, they checked their Pokemon first. You saw they pulled them all up a little bit. Now they're checking the energies, and now it looks like maybe some supporters as well are being pulled up. I think there's like a boss's orders and they're checking the Elisas specifically. So they want to know how many Elisa Sparkles and Fusion Strike energies there are available to them in the deck, because you want to know what your damage output with Meloetta's Melodious Echo is. If you need to hit into something big like a Pokemon V Star, usually has like 280-ish HP, so you want to make sure you have all 4 of your Fusion Strike energies in deck, because Melodious Echo does 70 for each Fusion Strike energy that you have in play on your Pokemon. So you can attach for turn, play Elisa Sparkle, attach for turn again on another turn, and you're hitting for 280 without having to play any power tablets or choice belt to increase your damage. So I'm really curious to see what this deck on the left is playing. It looks like we just saw a Regigigas flash on the screen. Is this actually Regigigas? I'm very surprised. This is the first time we're seeing the Ice Cube be played. You can snipe to your opponent's bench 40 times the amount of Fusion Strike energies that you have in play. So a little bit less of a damage output. You cap out at 160, but hitting the bench is usually pretty good. And it will be extra good in this matchup because usually these Reggie decks like to play gift energy. So when you knock out their active, they draw until they have 7 cards in their hand. So if you were to snipe to the bench, you'll be one-shotting a Pokemon and not activating that energy, especially if you are to play something like Judge or Iono in the same turn. You can pick this deck apart pretty easily. So I would expect this deck to lose pretty handedly if it is in fact Reggie's. They do have to play basic energies now, so it's even less consistent in getting certain attacks off. There's no more Speed Lightning energy for the Regieleki. There's no more Aurora energies to use on any of your Pokemon, which is generally how you were able to get certain attacks off. So if it wants to attack with Regice, it would have to play 2 water energies in the deck. If it wants to attack with Regidrago, it needs to play both grass and fire energies in the deck, which are again only usable on that Pokemon. If it wants to attack with Regirock, it needs to play a couple of fighting energies, etc. You can play the new Luminous energy, which we do see there at the front of his deck pile there, which is a rainbow energy, but it only counts as a rainbow if your Pokemon has no other special energy cards attached to it. So in order to utilize that, the other energies must be correct and basic. So it looks like we are Ultra Balling. We're discarding a Double Turbo energy as well as that Lightning energy to grab the Regidrago. When it's active, it allows you to once per turn draw until you have 4 cards in your hand, which is pretty good. We're going to use the Nest Ball as well, a very good addition to this deck. A little bit better than, a little bit worse than Quick Ball, because you can't use Quick Ball. You can't use it to discard your energies into the discard pile. For those who don't know how Reggies work, maybe if you're new to the game, because Reggies were a pretty decent, a little bit inconsistent, but a pretty decent low budget option, very inexpensive deck because it's all basically uncommons and commons. Maybe a couple regular holo rares. But this Reggie deck, the way it works is you use the Regigigas ability when you have one of every Reggie in play, so that's all 6 spots. It allows you to put 3 energy cards from your discard pile onto one of your Reggies in play. Well, one of your Pokemon in play. So I guess if you're playing expanded with like Skyfield, you could put it on a different Pokemon. Some people even play like Thornton to switch your target for the energies into like the Amazing Rare Evital, but of course that has rotated out as well. So pretty much everything that makes this Reggie deck good, except for the Reggies themselves, have been rotated. So again, not really sure how it got to a 4-1 record here, but I'm very interested to see exactly how it's going to be able to piece together some sort of win condition. Usually its game plan against Mew VMAX is to put a Choice Belt onto a Regigigas and use its ability on itself in order to put like 2 Twin Energies and then one of any other energy onto itself. It hits 150 plus another 150 if your opponent's Pokemon is a VMAX, which is 300, plus the Choice Belt is 330, so 20 more than you need to one-shot a Mew VMAX. You can take that knockout and take 3 prize cards, which is a great swing, especially when you are a 1-prizer deck. You are in the more advantageous spot. Mew VMAX decks do sometimes play Lost City, and at most you usually play up to 3 copies of a certain Reggie. Usually most of the cards you only play 2 copies of, so if you are to just like Boss's Orders and Lost City, 2 of the same Reggie, they can no longer use their Regigigas' ability for the rest of the game, so you knock out their Pokemon that has the energy on it after that, and they are locked out of even attempting to play the game, so you've won. So this Ice-Q makes it even more one-sided of a matchup, it feels like. It was already a bit of a hard matchup for Reggie before, and there is the Lost City coming out immediately before we even have all of the Reggies in play. I'm expecting this to be a landslide victory, but we'll have to see if the Reggie has some sort of spice cooking up in there. Super Rod, we do see in his hand, is much better than Ordinary Rod, which did rotate out. That was the main way to recycle Reggies. Usually you'd get 2 of the same Reggie knocked out, you'd play Ordinary Rod, shuffle those 2 of the same Reggie back in the deck, and try to re-find one of those. Super Rod does shuffle in up to 3 in any combination of Basic Energy and Pokemon. So, since you usually aren't playing Basic Energy, I guess in this version you are, but normally you're just playing the Ordinary Rod in order to recycle the Pokemon. So in this case, now that they have Super Rod, they can shuffle 1 extra Pokemon in. So that's pretty decent. Looks like we are going for the Elisa Sparkle here on the Mew's turn. We are going to be able to find 1 Fusion Strike energy off of that, so we must have prized 1. I do believe that we've already attached for turn here. I thought he pointed to both of the Mew VMAXs when he chose to play the Elisa Sparkle, which means that the Ice-Q can't have the energy be put on it, but I must have just missed what he pointed to, I guess. I could have sworn he pointed to the Mew on this bench that has the 2 Fusion Strike energies already, but either way, we were able to just take that knockout. I think we went for the Max Miracle because we did play a Power Tablet. So that should be 140 damage after, or no, that's 150 damage actually. We don't have a double turbo on us here, so we're doing the full 130, plus the 30 is 160, yeah. So more than enough for the knockout, didn't need the Power Tablet. If it did have the double turbo energy on it, it would have needed the Power Tablet, but probably just had to burn the 1 just to thin his hand and draw some more cards anyway. So we are going to use, looks like Hisuian Heavy Ball in order to find the Regigigas out of the prize cards to be able to put that onto our bench here. We do have the Pokestop as well as a really good card in Reggie's. Pokestop is a very inconsistent card. I don't really like playing it myself. But in a deck that is super reliant on items and having certain types of cards in the discard pile, it is really good if you're playing something along the lines of Reggie, sometimes even Lost Box, or definitely Darkrai V-Star. I would recommend playing the Pokestop. Looks like we are going to go for the Iono here. Both players are going to shuffle their hands, put them on the bottom of the deck, and draw cards equal to their remaining prize cards. So this Mew is going to get 5 new cards, and the Regigigas is going to get a fresh 6. So super reliant on being able to find not only another Regice, But also we are still looking for a Regigigas. Most of the time, at least in previous formats, these Reggie decks played 3 Regigigas and 3 Regigigas, as well as 2 copies of all of the other ones. So since one of the Regice is down, I would expect Mew to try to target down using the Ice Cue's attack for a... Wow, so it's doing 120 only, so without that extra Fusion Strike energy being pulled out of the prizes, hopefully he did get that off the one prize. But if he was able to get that off the prize cards, he can snipe the Regice off of the bench with the Ice Cue's attack, put that into the Lost Zone with the play of another Lost City, and then effectively win the game off of that. Your opponent here with the Reggies still does not have anything in play. Looks like the opponent here knows exactly what he is doing here. He's playing very fast. He knows what his win condition is, so maybe he knows that he just needs to find another Lost City. He doesn't need to find it yet. He just needs to find it once the Regice comes into play. So he doesn't necessarily have to play this fast and draw this many cards right now. He can just wait until maybe he pulls that Fusion Strike energy off his prize cards and then go for it that turn, because the Regice will likely come into play by then anyway. I think you just feel perfectly... Oh, that is a really good play. So there was a Regirock in the discard pile. So the Mew deck plays the Echoing Horn that puts a Pokemon card from your opponent's... a basic Pokemon from your opponent's discard pile onto their bench. And since they now have 2 of the same Reggie, they can no longer have enough space to put all 6 Reggies in play. So Regigigas' ability is null and void. There is no scoop up net anymore in the format, since that has rotated as well. That was the way that this deck played around something like the Echoing Horn. But now what he's going to do is try to force the Regirock active every turn and hope that the opponent knocks it out. So what Mew can do is just copy Ice Cue's attack every turn and knock out every Pokemon that isn't Regirock. Even if it doesn't go for a knockout, Mew can just convincingly take its time. Looks like we're going to mill the Regigigas that we need. Also, Mew, if it doesn't go for the Ice Cue attack, can always just play Boss's Orders to bring up a Pokemon that's not the Regirock as well. We're going to see a Lightning Energy attachment to the Regigigas. And yeah, again, not looking good for them. So again, just trying to thin our cards out of our hand here for the player on the right. Probably going to want to be playing that Lost City down if you get to it. So here is an Ultra Ball. Getting rid of an Elisa Sparkle we don't need because we already have all the Fusion Strike energies currently available in our deck in play. Otherwise, I would say the Elisa Sparkle play would be good this turn. Just going to have to find a way to move that Genesect from the active spot. So we're going to need a Switch, an Escape Rope, or a double Turbo Energy. No matter what, any one of those will be able to move the Pokemon. So we are going to see the Cramomatic discarding the Cramomatic, flipping a heads, thankfully, so we are going to be able to look through our deck and probably find our Switch or Switch Cart, whichever one we are playing in there, or the Escape Rope. But if we play Escape Rope, the opponent's just going to put up their Regirock, so there is the Escape Rope. That's an alternate art that I don't think we ever got around here. I don't think that was ever printed outside of Japan, unfortunately, because that is a really good artwork. You can actually see that the Escape Rope is bringing you out of the cave, just like it does in the video games. So we're going to flip a heads on yet another Cramomatic, getting rid of another Power Tablet. Again, don't really need the Power Tablet so much in this deck matchup, just because the Reggies have a cap of 150 HP. Most of them have less than that, usually 130 or less. It's just the Regigigas that has more than that. So we do have the Boss's Orders that is going to get rid of the Regigigas, leaving both Regirocks in play. And again, that buys yet another turn for the Mew VMAX deck, because in order for the Reggie to even get one attack off, it's going to have to get the Regirock out of play and a whole bunch more Reggies into play. We're going to see the Pokemon Catcher here. We're going to flip a coin. If heads, we can essentially gust our opponent's bench Pokemon up. We are going to flip a Tails, so no Boss's Orders effect from that card. That card, when it was first printed, did not have a coin flip effect. And I preferred the format in that way when we just had Boss's Orders as a trainer card. Sometimes, in order to bicycle until you had 4 cards in your hand, it would be really good just to play Pokemon Catcher twice to re-gust up the opponent's active Pokemon just to like draw 1 card off the bicycle. That was a really fun format. That was the Darkrai Mewtwo format. That's about the time when I started playing. I thought it was really interesting, a lot more simplified than the game state is now. And a lot more skill intensive, I feel, as well. The problem I've been having with the format right now is it really just feels like whoever draws better, and a lot of decks are more inconsistent, but hopefully Paldea Evolved does fix that to some degree, but I'm thinking it's not going to be truly fixed for another year or two once all of these powerful decks like Mew VMAX get rotated out and we see just a more like stage 1 and 2 reliant format, things like Gardevoir EX, maybe Meowscarada EX, and things of those natures being the only playable decks would be a good format to see. We've been playing enough in these big basic formats for quite a while. I'd definitely like to see something new, something more like the old days. I used to play my Darkrai EX with Hydreigon. You would rare candy into that, and it would allow you to move your Darkness energies in play, and then you could play Max Potion to heal off your Darkrai, and then move the energies right back to it. So you move the energies off, Max Potion it, heal all the damage, put all the energies back on the Darkrai, snipe 90-30 again. It was fantastic. You had Pokemon Catcher, so you could knock out whoever you wanted every turn. Very good skill-intensive format. I loved it. So Reggie, still struggling to set up, finally has the Regigigas in play off of this nest ball here. Plenty of energy cards in the discard pile of all different sorts. We've got lightning energies in there. We've got a water energy on our active. We just discarded a fighting energy as well. Not really getting too far because we are still 3 Reggies short of the combo of even attempting to attack here. So we're going to use the Regigate to search our deck for 1 Reggie. And it looks like we're going to go for the Gigas. Again, still need an Ice, as well as a Drago in order to be able to even use Regigigas' ability. And Regigigas is the one that's going to need to attack as well as have a Choice Belt, and we have not seen a Choice Belt yet here. Looks like we have seen it from the Mew, which is very funny. Just attaching that Choice Belt just to Lost Vacuuming it away, just to draw more cards if we can. Same thing here, getting rid of another Genesect. Just trying to thin the hand so we can grab the boss. And here we go. This is what guarantees the game here. We're going to get rid of the Regigigas. I do believe there's going to be 2 Regigigases in the discard pile for this Reggie player now. So pretty unlikely that they're even going to get 1 attack off. But if they do, we still have a second Mew VMAX here. So I guess the boss's orders here wasn't super relevant. But I guess the most threatening thing on the board is the Gigas. So might as well attempt to get your opponent to not be able to use the ability once whatsoever in order to get any single knockout. But yeah, if you were unable to use the Mew VMAX's attack here, we still have the other one. So looks like we must be going for the Techno Blast this time. We're going to attack with the double turbo energy one, conserving all of our Fusion Strike energies just in case we do get knocked out this turn. We'll still be able to use the attack of a Meloetta if we have another one of those in our hand. Or we could just use Techno Blast, whichever we prefer. But it's a little better to try to preserve the Fusion Strike energies. I don't believe that Mew will be a good play for NAIC specifically, because I do think that some people will be privy to that, and they will be playing at least 1 copy of Giacomo in their deck. So if you're playing Mew, I would definitely say play the double turbo energy version, because you are not weak to Giacomo. Giacomo can discard 1 special energy from each one of the Pokemon that your opponent has in play. So if they are playing the Fusion Strike build of Mew, you can pretty much just cripple them. You can discard at least 2 energies off of them in 1 turn, just off of that 1 supporter card. But that is it, guys. Looks like the Mew deck did win pretty convincingly, as I expected. Unfortunate that the Reggie deck is not quite as good as it was. We still need some more rainbow special energies to be printed or reprinted in order to get exactly there. So we will just see you guys next time for the next round. Do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe and all of that good stuff. We'll see you then.